All right, my 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, how are you doing? It's Mr. Berglund. Welcome to my home. If you can see my lovely, you can kind of see it. There's a sign that says trick or treat. My wife and I are into the holiday spirit, into the Halloween spirit, and it's time to get pumpkin-y, all right? So in class, we have started to introduce the pumpkin. We talked about a plan that we're going to do in order to learn as much as we can about pumpkins. All right, so now that we're at home, hopefully you're working with your parents, so this is kind of fun and interactive. You can kind of teach your parents what we've been talking about in class, or you're doing this by yourself and it's fine. Hello family, hello everyone who is watching this. All right, so in class we talked about our plan, and we want to learn as much as we can about pumpkins, all right? And we talked about how we want to identify the properties of this pumpkin, and the properties will allow us to learn as much as we can and give us as much description as we can in order to describe a pumpkin, because scientists, when they come across a new object, in order to allow the public and anyone who's reading their journals, in order to let them know all about it, they have to be as descriptive as possible. So properties allow us to describe all the things that we see, feel, smell, hear about objects. All right, so talk with your parents, talk with your neighbor, to whoever you're watching this. What are some properties that we can look for when it comes to describing pumpkins? I'll wait. What great whistling skills. Everybody clap for Mr. Berglund. All right. So now that we know the properties, all right? So hopefully one of them that you talked about is weight, all right? And in the U.S., our term of measurement, right, how we measure is in pounds. So what you're going to do, what I want us to do, is we need to measure how heavy our pumpkin is. And in class, I asked you to make a prediction and write in your journal. All right, so in your journal, I'm going to stand up. I asked you to predict, right? It says, I predict that my pumpkin will weigh, right? So how much do you predict that it weighs? And after you have written your predictions in your journal, I'm going to have you get a scale. All right, I have a household scale. If you have a scale at home, place your pumpkin on top of it, and it will tell you how much it weighs in pounds. And then once you have done so, I'm going to ask you to write, my pumpkin actually weighs how many pounds? So this pumpkin weighs 16.4 pounds. All right, so that's how much this pumpkin weighs. I initially thought it would weigh 30 pounds, but it only weighs 16.4 pounds. All right, and don't worry, I'm going to upload pictures of what you should have written in your journal so that you can follow along. You don't have to just copy what I did in this video. I'm going to upload pictures to accompany this video. All right, so now, after we have inputted that data, right, we want to still be as descriptive and informed and prepared as possible. So you should also have some line plots or graphs in front of you. All right, and this line plot says weight of pumpkins. All right, so you'll see numbers starting 0 all the way 5, right, all the way to 70 pounds. All right, so if you see right here, I have 15, and my pumpkin weighs 16.4 pounds. So I found the line after, because 15 plus 1 is 16. So my pumpkin weighs about 16 pounds. So that's where I put an X. So now I can know when I look at this, oh, my pumpkin weighs 16 pounds. We're going to put the rest of our classmates' pumpkin's weight on here as well, so we can see, how different and varied the weights of the pumpkins are. So weight is one of the properties that we can use to identify pumpkins. But another property is the circumference. So go ahead and tell your parents, tell yourself, remind your parents, what is the circumference? How do you measure the circumference? That was much faster. All right, remember that circumference is the distance around the pumpkin. So you are going to need your tape measure, and the unit of measurement we're going to use is centimeters. All right, so you can take your tape measure. If you have one at home, you're going to take it and you're going to start and you're going to go around, because the circumference is a distance around. So I'm going to go around, and right where the line meets, right, you're going to find it. So they meet right here. My pumpkin is 89 centimeters round. All right, it has a circumference of 89 centimeters. Why am I putting this down there? So in your journal, you're going to put right the circumference of my pumpkin is 89 centimeters for me. And then we are also going to go to our line chart. You should have another one. Oh, we don't want that one. We want this one. We should take this one, and we're going to write the circumference of pumpkins, all right? Now look, mine is 89 centimeters. I had to make more lines to represent my data. So I went down to the second line, and I charted 1 before 90 is 89. So I have my the circumference of my pumpkin is 89 centimeters. All right, so once you have done that, you now know the size and the weight of your pumpkin. Now you should also have other properties that we can look for. And some of these properties, if you haven't already talked about with your parents, are the color, we have the size, we have the weight, we need the texture, right? How does it feel? And let's go ahead with smell. How does it smell? Does it smell funky? Does it smell like the bottom of your shoes? Does it smell like your cat? What does it smell like? So in your journal, you should put properties of my pumpkin before cutting it open. All right, and we're going to write these down, and then you should have, all right, I would put color. Is it purple? Is it orange? The size, how many centimeters is it? How much does it weigh? How does it feel? What does it smell like? Alright, so that is our first task when it comes to exploring our pumpkins. We're going to share in class. So there are Google folders, Google Drive folder attachments that have been sent to your parents representing your grades. So you can go ahead and take pictures of you working on it, experimenting. I would love to see those. Go ahead and upload those photos or videos to your Google Drive photo folder, and then we can talk about it in class. We'll get to share a little bit, and we would love to see how your investigation went. So take notes in your journal. It's always good to take notes, and I will see you for your next task.